That's almost got me sweating watching all that, man. It's a lot of power there. Well, at this time of the program, it's Dr. Larry Doyle is going to talk to us a little about his upbringing here in the county and his life experiences and maybe what he learned growing up here and how he used that to better himself. And this time it's Dr. Doyle.
Thank you very much. I learned early in my career that the worst place to be on the program is right after a bunch of talented kids. So, weren't those kids great? Thank you, President Mosier, Director LaRue, all the members of the Kingdom of Callaway committees that have worked so hard to put this evening together, and fellow Callawegians. I do sincerely appreciate this opportunity to be the Kingdom of Callaway Supper guest of honor. It's been good to renew some old acquaintances and to make some new friends. Congratulations to you, Roger. You're a great entrepreneur. You came from some fairly humble beginnings and evolved to achieve some outstanding success in the business world. I am beginning to understand, though, why you've been so successful. Last October, when I went to the post office to pick up my mail, there was a card in the post office box telling me to go to the window and pick up an envelope. I went to the window and picked up the envelope, and it was this envelope. And it was Roger inviting me to be the guest of honor for tonight's supper. It had a postage due of 48 cents.
Sherry, where you at?
I guess every penny counts when you're in the grocery business. I'd like to introduce my guest tonight. First of all, my wife, Dorothy, wife for 52 years and retired school teacher and librarian, Dorothy Doyle. Second, my sister-in-law and the widow of my brother Jim, Helen Doyle. And finally, my right hand at Lighthouse Consulting Services, office manager, administrative assistant, chief cook and bottle washer for 32 years, Linda Bishop. And with Linda tonight is her sister, Jan Talbot, and Jan's daughter and son-in-law, and their daughter, Erin. They are all current residents of Callaway County. Thank you for coming tonight. Before I begin, let me answer the question that's on everybody's mind. About 13 minutes. I've sat in the audience in enough programs to know what all of you are thinking. How long is this guy going to talk before we get to the good part of the program? But I'm just as anxious as you are to recognize those in the community who have made such major contributions to the quality of life here in the Kingdom of Callaway. So I'll keep my comments brief. 112 years. It's quite an honor to be recognized by something that's been around longer than I have. So few locations in the country document and celebrate its traditions like the Kingdom of Callaway. You should be very proud of the commitment that you have to maintaining its place in history. Callaway County was a great place to grow up in. My mom and dad and my two older brothers were transplants from Iowa in the 1930s. I grew up on a small farm 9 miles east of Avaz, about 3 miles from Bachelor. And I attended Avaz High School. It was a small school. We only had about 80 students, quite different from the high schools of 1,500 plus students that I supervised as a school superintendent. But the advantage of a small school is that you get to participate in a lot of things regardless of your skill level. I was a second trumpet in a 2-trumpet band. I was a 6th man on a 5-man basketball team. I was an all-conference baseball player, but only because 4 of my teammates were ruled ineligible because they played on an unapproved team outside of the school. I was class president for 2 years because nobody else wanted the job. I had a few lousy teachers, but I had some great teachers too. So I managed to qualify for scholarships that sent me to college. I enjoyed college so much I kept going for the next 30 years. My career has been a combination of education and business interest. As a school and college administrator, my niche has been working with institutions in financially stressed situations. As a consultant, I focused on colleges and not-for-profit organizations struggling to survive and prosper in highly competitive environments. I'm now semi-retired. I still work, but not very hard. And while we own our home and business in St. Charles County, Dorothy and I recently bought our retirement home in Mexico, Missouri, and I spend about half my time there. When I reflect on my formative years spent in Callaway County, I come to appreciate a number of people that have held the ladder for me to climb on. There was Dr. Doman, who delivered me into this world at the Fulton Community Hospital and who treated the ills and injuries that happened to a farm kid. There was Tom Hill and Beth Novinger, 2 high school teachers that persuaded me to try to go to college instead of going to the AP Green Brick Company like my father and my 2 brothers. There was Mr. Montaz at the Security Bank of Avaz, who loaned me the difference between my scholarships and the cost of going to college. There was Mr. Hook, editor of the weekly Avaz Review newspaper, who let me write a sports column for the paper. And there was my dad, who worked awfully hard to provide for us and set a quiet example of how life should be lived and how God's world should be respected. My dad only hit me once. I was 9 years old, and it was slaughtering day. That was when all the neighboring farmers would bring a cow or a hog to a central farm, and all would pitch in and help each other harvest the beef or pork for their own family's consumption. It was Dad's turn to host, and about a dozen cattle were in the holding pen awaiting their fate. Our product was an old bull, a mean bull that had tormented me for years whenever I went out in the field to round up the cattle. And seeing my chance to get some revenge, I stood outside the holding pen with a pointed stick, and I poked the bull whenever he came within range. When my dad saw what I was doing, he became very enraged, slapped me upside the head and knocked me to the ground. He said, "Don't ever unnecessarily mistreat any living thing. In a few minutes, that bull will make a sacrifice of its life so you can have your hamburger and steak. You should be thankful for its sacrifice instead of mistreating it." And that lesson to respect all of God's creatures has stayed with me all of my life. And while I still thoroughly enjoy my hamburgers and my steaks, I do maintain a humble appreciation and reverence for this earth and for all of its occupants. Growing up in Callaway County ingrained some thinking in my basic philosophy about life that has stayed with me throughout my career. First, hard work pays off. In college, I quickly realized that there were a lot of people far smarter and wealthier than me. The only way I had to compete with them was to outwork them. As a part of my orientation to college, I was assigned to read a story about President Calvin Coolidge. When Coolidge was a student in college, he roomed in a dormitory across the street from another dormitory. His window faced the window of another student that was also in his class. In fact, she was the top female student in his class. One night, as he prepared to go to bed, he glanced out the window and saw the other student still deeply involved in her studies. So not to be outdone, he returned to his desk and continued to work until the other student's light went out. He did that every night, working just a little longer and a little harder than the other student across the road. And when the semester was over, he was a top student, but only by a fraction of the point over the female student from the neighboring dormitory. He recognized that it was only through the additional efforts made by working a little longer and a little harder that he was able to reach that goal. I also learned that individual freedoms produce opportunity. I believe in free enterprise. This world is changing at breakneck speed, and it threatens to leave a lot of our citizens behind. But there are great possibilities for those who can combine solid personal values with the skills and knowledge required in this global marketplace. We must protect that freedom and not give in to the call for government to take care of all of our wants. Remember what Thomas Jefferson said, a government that is big enough to supply everything you need is also big enough to take everything you have. Frequently in my career, I found myself in the middle of situations involving serious conflicts between groups. I've often been involved in labor management relations, and I've taught some graduate courses in that field. I always told my students the story of a group of people far out to sea in a badly leaking rowboat. The workers seated in the front of the boat watched as the managers seated in the back of the boat frantically bailed out the water. "Well," said one of the workers, "I'm sure glad we're not in that end of the boat." Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're all in the same boat, and we either survive and work together or we sink together. And so I thank you. You gave me the opportunity to be the best I could be. I've had the good fortune to travel fairly widely. Dorothy and I could retire just about anywhere. But we chose mid-Missouri because we simply think it's the best place we've ever found to live. If this region can continue to celebrate its progress and prosperity while maintaining our commitment to our core values, this will continue to be a blessed part of our world. Amen. So thank you again for this honor. I wish you continued success in the Kingdom of Callaway.
Boy, what a speech.
Here's your granddaughter now, if you want to recognize her. There she is.
Okay. Larry chose to stay in mid-Missouri. He's been everywhere. That's great. What a nice talk. Really powerful. At this time, we're going to have a presentation of awards, and at this time, David Gilman will come forward.
Beautiful evening, a great meal, great entertainment. Seen the presentation of the colors by Boy Scout Troop 32. Over 50 years ago, Roger and I were in that troop. Yes. Believe it or not, but, so that was great. Okay, and we had a very good Larry Mickey Doyle as our guest of honor. And on behalf of the Kingdom of Callaway Historical Society, if you'd come forward, Larry, I'd like to present you with some things from the Historical Society. It says, the Kingdom of Callaway Historical Society takes pleasure in presenting an honorary membership in the Society to Larry M. Doyle. This award is presented at the annual Kingdom of Callaway Supper, at which time the guest of honor, a native son or daughter, is recognized for the outstanding contributions they have made in their chosen profession. Presented March 7, 2017, by the Kingdom of Callaway Historical Society, Fulton, Missouri.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. We've got these other things for you. That's it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it looks like at this time, Dr. Mike Bassnett will present the Settlers Award Committee will now present the Settlers Award. So Mike's the boss man, and he's got to get her going here.
Well, it's my privilege tonight to present the Settlers Award to Bobby Washington. I'll ask him to come forward and read a little bit about Bobby. He's the pastor of the Fulton Church of God in Christ, and he was ordained in July 2003 at the recommendation of his former pastor, Albert Nickens. Bobby was born and raised in Topeka, Kansas. He graduated from Topeka High School and received a PE degree from Ottawa University. He moved to Fulton to accept a job at MSD, and he taught PE, health, and he coached, taught driver's ed, and coached for 32 years. He's been very active in the community as anybody that's been around him. He's been on the Housing Authority Commission, the Prison Board. He's coached a lot of teams. He's married to Ella Cole Washington, and they have been married 36 years. They have 4 children, 2 sons. 2 sons, Jeremy and Isaiah, and 2 daughters, Talisha and Rachel. And he likes to think they got their athletic ability from him, but we know it came from Ella. He has 4 grandchildren, Mackenzie, Jacoby, Jakari, and Audrey. I did some background check on Bobby, and I thought the best place to find out really about him was his children. So I called up Jeremy, and I was wanting to get a little bit of dirt on Bobby and see really who he was. And Jeremy, and here's what Jeremy said. He said, "My dad truly lives out his faith. He puts God first in his family, and he could not have asked for better parents growing up and setting a godly example." So I didn't get any dirt. And he said they also benefited from from traveling with the teams to different locations with MSD. They traveled to Minnesota and Atlanta and to Kansas with the teams, and he said it was a great experience, and the family was close for that. I appreciate Bobby and his family, and he has made our community a better place to live and a richer place to be. Thank you, Bobby.
I'm honored to receive this award, a Settlers Award, and was very surprised and very grateful. Thank the committee. Thank you for thinking of me and selecting me out to receive this award. A lot of people could have received this award, but I'm very grateful and very humble and very appreciative that you guys thought enough that I deserve this, and I appreciate what you have selected me. Thank you very much. I feel very blessed. Now I'm getting my preaching. Yeah. I feel a little loose, but I feel blessed to be in the county, in Callaway County, and to be here in Fulton. I'm blessed with my wife. It's because of her. I'm here in Fulton, Missouri, and I'm very appreciative that a lot of the people that I came in contact with showed their friendship. A lot of times that I go places and they open arms. Something about Callaway County, we got a lot of good people in Callaway County, and especially in Fulton. I've met a lot of good people, a lot of people who have supported me down through the years. Doors that have been open to give me an opportunity to teach here at the Missouri School for the Deaf. Peter Ripley and some of the ones that were, and some of the family members that were encouraging me to apply out to the School for the Deaf. It was very humbling experience knowing that I didn't have any signing ability, but they were able and was interested in wanting me to come and be a part of their school. And I thank the good Lord for just being able to pick up on the skills and the people that took the time to teach and to help me to acquire the skills that was needed to teach at the School for the Deaf. And I found it to be a very rewarding experience for me, and I stayed there for 32 years. I thank God. I know, one more thing. I'm blessed, and I thank the Lord for my children, and they've meant a lot to me and my wife. But also, I'm blessed to have my brothers be here with me who surprised me today to show up. And God bless you. Thank you. And I pray that you have a safe trip back, too. I thank the Lord for you guys that supported me, and you smiled, you opened the doors, you supported the church. Some have given to the church and to help the church continue to grow, and I appreciate all that you do. Most of all, I appreciate the friendship that you guys have showed towards me and to my family. It's great to be a part of Callaway County. God bless you.
Very nice words there. Very nice. Very nice. At this time, we're going to have someone called the Honorable Joe Holt come up and give the DSA award.
Mr. President, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, I think I should start with a quick apology. We left Gracia unattended a little while ago, and as usual, she went on about it. I'm sorry, but those things happen. The Supper Committee, since 1989, has selected a person or group who have made outstanding contributions to our community that make it a much better place to live, and given them our Distinguished Service Award. The Callaway Youth Expo, and David, if you all will start coming forward, please. Formed in 2012, came from 4-Hers, FFAs, Boy Scouts, and other youth programs with a vision and a need to develop family-oriented youth programs and a place to showcase the youth, and they are our 2017 selection. Their first event, the Youth Expo in July of 2013 at the Avals Lions Club Park, has led to larger, better programs, and it's been a huge success for the youth, and I would submit for the city of Avals. At first, they partnered with the help and aid of the Avals Lions Club, the city of Avals, the North Callaway FFA chapter, the North Callaway High School, and now they have moved to where they were able to purchase, with a great help from the Lions Club property at a very favorable rate. They look forward to greatly improved youth shows in 2017 and onward. With upgraded infrastructure, they have fantastic visions for the future and for their home there in Avals, and the admission is free to the public. Come see them. It's a truly major contribution to our community. And here tonight to receive the award is David Reed, the president or chairman of the board, 3 of the young people who were the original youth board members, 1 former youth board member, the vice president, and the current youth vice president, as well as other former members and parts of their organization who are here in the audience. Congratulations to you and to the board and the youth. We are delighted to honor you with this plaque and to wish you the best of success in the future years. David?
Well, Bobby, I'm not going to be as good as you because I got a cheat sheet, so just bear with me. It's going to be a lot of the things that Joe said. The Callaway Youth Expo is truly humbled and honored to be recognized by the Kingdom of Callaway Supper, the Distinguished Service Award. The mission of the CYE is to engage youth to reach their fullest potential while advancing youth development and leadership. This mission is accomplished through the involvement of the youth every aspect of the CYE, including a youth board, mentoring opportunities, ongoing projects, and programs. The CYE has many youth of all ages from 4-H, FFA, Boy Scouts, and other youth organizations grow. Some of the youth are continuing their work with the CYE as adults to help grow more leaders. The Callaway Youth Expo would not be possible without the support from the local businesses and individuals such as many of you here tonight. We would like to formally thank the Avals Lions Club, the North Callaway School District, and the City of Avals for providing a location to hold our first CYE in 2013. We are grateful for the continued financial support from the local businesses and residents and a generous agreement with the Avals Lions Club that allowed the CYE to purchase a Lions Club park in 2016. This has given the youth a permanent home for the Expo. We're proud to provide a family-friendly atmosphere for the youth, and we look forward to seeing you in July at the Callaway Youth Expo. From everyone involved with the expo, a heartfelt thank you for your recognition and support. Thank you.